And the commonality I think all our mothers have is shame. Like being able to confront what they did is almost impossible for them. And I had to respect that my memories are not my mother's memories. She has a whole wealth of treasure trove of memory. Right.
Perception.
Perspective, perception, everything that she went through, she's also carrying that trauma and now being confronted by me with my own trauma. And I think she looks at me like, you ain't raised child to boot. Like, how dare you even come in here questioning what I had to do when I had 2 kids by myself? So I try to find that balance. But one thing that's interesting to me is this doesn't just play out privately for a lot of people nowadays. Nowadays, it's so public. So the fact that we're talking about this publicly is a huge deal, but it's kind of par for the course for a lot of things that we're seeing across social media now, unfortunately. So now I kind of want to shift us and talk a little bit about reality TV stars, Blac Chyna and her mother, Tokyo Toni. And I should say she doesn't go by Blac Chyna anymore. Her name is she goes by Angela White. Angela White now. She has denounced that life and submitted her life to Christianity. Her mother, Tokyo Toni, had her when she was just 16 years old. And when she got into an argument with her daughter, who you all know as Blac Chyna, in 2018, she called her a mistake and a statutory rape baby, which I can't imagine. And in April of last year, she said that she would Marvin Gaye her daughter. For our younger viewers who may not know, Marvin Gaye was murdered by his father, unfortunately. And so she allegedly the threat came because Blac Chyna did not send her $3,800. So I'm going to play a clip of Tokyo Toni and the way that she is talking to and about her daughter. And I should warn our viewers, this can be triggering and traumatizing. And it certainly is for me just to hear it. So we'll take a listen and talk about it on the other side.
It was Angela Renee. The disrespect that you have been giving me for the past quite a few years, I've tolerated it because I'm your mama, you're the only child. But you better keep in mind I'm a bad bitch. You know exactly who you fucking with. See, you wouldn't be where the fuck you are if it wasn't for me. Oh, fuck birthing you, bitch. That was a mistake. Just happened to come into play.
Wow. I can't imagine. My mother and I had issues. I cannot imagine her going on social media doing an entire video about that. She did used to, when she was drinking, leave some crazy comments on Facebook. But in sobriety, she just doesn't do that. I'm going to go to you on this, Carla. What's your take here on Tokyo Toni? And I don't know if I should call her Blac Chyna because she's Angela now, but Blac Chyna, a.k.a. Angela.
So we live in a very different society now where everything is magnified through social media and they're a very public relationship. But at the same time, you can speak on this situation like we're speaking about it right now publicly and not have to shame them or speak like that, just disrespectful, bottom of the barrel. Like, what are we doing? I understand you said she had her at 16. That's fine. But what are you doing, Tokyo? For what? What are you needing? What is going to be the result of this when millions of people are watching you berate your daughter and now your daughter has to do what? Still come back to you. What I usually notice is that Angela at some point reconciles back with her mom and comes back and then they're fine again. And then Tokyo Toni goes back and does another video. And then Angela comes back at some point in time and it's like, it's a cycle that's not being broken. But why are you okay? For me, for her daughter, why are you okay with your mama talking to you like that? And you just are okay with just forgiving it?
Like, she yearns for her mother, like you. And I think, when I see this, we've all talked about the trauma that our mothers carry. This woman is clearly traumatized. Tokyo Toni clearly has some challenges and clearly saw this behavior and is mimicking it now. So it's hard to look at them with judgment, but I do look at them with great sadness. It's just, I'm so sad that this is on public display. And I, to be honest, do not follow these two women, but I think of all the many young girls who do.
That's the problem. We don't have to follow them. This shows up everywhere else.
Yeah.
Someone's resharing, millions of people reshare it. They post, they talk about it. They have think pieces. We have all of the blogs that pick it up because it's entertainment.
There's nothing entertaining about it.
And when you look at it, yes, it's sad because the same way you can Google how to go off on your daughter, you can also figure out how to get some healing.
Yes.
And there's no one normal or with any emotional intelligence that would do what Tokyo is doing.
I agree with that.
There's zero emotional intelligence there. There is definitely trauma. There are definitely generational curses, but she's choosing, instead of fixing it, to go publicly and speak on it the way she is towards her daughter.
I also think what you hate in others is what you see in yourself. She called her daughter a weirdo, a slut bucket. And
I think that, if I'm not mistaken, they were both strippers. They were both strippers. Wow. Like Tokyo Toni was also out, doing certain things that her daughter also did after. So it's like maybe you see now your daughter trying to do better and trying to change her life, where some might be like, oh, she's just trying to get attention, or maybe she's healing.
Yeah. And the mother could be jealous of that.
Right. It's like, well, I never got to heal. I don't know how to do that, or I can't do it. That could be part of the jealousy
in mothers and daughters. What do you say, Ms. Glennis? So, I mean, this is a sad thing to see.
I just think
come closer to them.
They wouldn't be as volatile if the camera wasn't on. See, we didn't have cameras. We don't have cameras. We really have to deal with our real lives.
Right.
And this stuff is clickbait.
Right.
It's clickbait. And so that's another time. You see, back in 80, 70, we couldn't speak to our mom like that.
Right.
Period. I don't care how bad it feels, but the camera is on.
Yeah.
So that gives a whole, it's like, how you want to fight, but as soon as the crowd go away, you don't want to fight no more.
Right.
And I think that this new thing, this new Instagram and platform thing it makes you turn up and so that's work for them. Because the more we curse at each other and fuss, the more we do what we do on TV, the more our ratings go up. Right. So that's a piece of it.
Or they just get acknowledgement. Like that acknowledgement, and that like someone cares.
It's like
even if it's not bringing any money.
Even if they comment. Nobody was commenting when we was getting our tail beat. So it was nothing to discuss. But now there's comments, whether they're negative or positive, is something. And it brings attention to me. Now I'm a star. So I don't know if that behavior is necessarily our foundation. I just think once the lights come on, because what would we do if the light was on us 24/7 and we getting all of this attention from all of this talking and negative? Do we go and have a meeting about it? And say, come on, boo, you go ahead on and call me what you will, because now our money is going up.
Right.
So I don't know. It's terrible.
Yeah.
And I feel sorry for them, because the most important relationship that you have in this world, you denigrated it.
Right.
And you just made it nasty, and you let the world see. We are so anxious to let the world see everything. What's private anymore now is sex with your husband, how y'all do that, how we talk about, nothing is private. Nothing.
Everyone's building like this empire to themselves and fancying themselves in the celebrity world. And I just want to assure our listeners and our viewers that we are certainly not showing this to escalate or add any more value or attention to this kind of toxic exchange. But it's important to show for all the people who do follow and traffic in reality TV, this is not normal. This is not healthy dynamic. And if this is a dynamic that you're experiencing with your parent, please understand, just because you see it played out in reality TV, that it is not a healthy dynamic.
And one thing to point out here, that it's not reality TV. Very common with Monique and her son. Yeah. That she had, for her right now, and in the era that we're in, she is selling tickets and airing it out. I don't think for Tokyo Toni is doing much, because she's talking about Marvin Gayeing her because she didn't give him money for rent that she didn't have.
Yeah.
So you're behind on rent. Clearly the rents aren't doing much, but it's giving you attention that your daughter's not giving you.
And taking away attention from your daughter, and I'm pulling her back to a space that she's trying to evolve from. Just so you know, Monique, earlier this year, she was on stage and talked about her son and an older woman. They have a public beef, and an older woman came and said to her, F that N-word. I mean, for the audience, y'all know what I mean. Monique said this to an audience on stage, and was like high-fiving, and like it was completely appropriate. And you just imagine, like, what happened to you as a daughter that you would carry this into your experience as a mother? So I try not to judge these women, but I pray for their healing, but as I pray for all of our healing, because we have a long way to go.
These relationships are sacred.
Yeah.
And when we even mothers to daughters, daughters to mothers, whoever they're sacred. And we are dishonoring God when we cross that line, and we don't have principles anymore about anything. It's just so disheartening with, what you see, hearing that. Now I'm sad all over again.
Yeah.
It's like,
it's sad. It's sad to hear.